babysitter. They are there on it, swiping, and no conversation. And they are, I would say, late in learning to talk, and their motor skills probably not as developed. What can you say about that?
No, you're absolutely right. It's causing, hindering the progression of social skills, fine motor skills. And I think that on their computers, well, it was a way to keep them occupied.
I understand, as you say, we empathize with them.
We empathize.
Because of time management.
Yes.
But you tell them out there the negative or the effects of that on a growing child, a developing child there.
Of course. So there are so many effects on their brain development. As I said, their social skills, their interaction, their speech, right? Social communication, their ability to interact. What I suggest to parents is sometimes set up an area. Have them use the Lego blocks or the building. Well, Lego is small, but so the toddlers may use the bigger ones, right? So the building blocks that can hone creativity and build those skills which we know we need to develop and thrive as humans as they get older. So create activities and initiatives and outlets where they can develop the creativity side of it. And so social media is not going to, so sometimes they're scrolling passively, you know, just, okay, video after video, not really internalizing, or maybe internalizing things unconsciously as well.
Yeah.
Right? And it really doesn't do well for our toddlers.
So hold that thought there. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. We are talking about social media from our psychologist, Tahira Ramsrook, and we will be right back.
Never too early, never too late to recharge and hydrate. Get your daily dose the right way. Grab an oasis, now why wait? Never too early, never too late to recharge and hydrate. Get your daily dose the right way. Grab an oasis, now why wait? The greatest, the safest oasis for sure. Oasis, it's purer than pure.
Let's do it again. Back at the Baraka Grounds in Central Trinidad. Friday 6th, Saturday 7th, and Sunday 8th February, just before Ramadan 2026. Get all your food, toys, tech items, phone accessories, clothes, household items, something for everyone just before Ramadan. The pre-Ramadan Expo at Baraka Grounds, Friday 6th, Saturday 7th, and Sunday 8th February 2026.
Your lunchtime. Fruitopia, Fruitopia. It's a drink that's high. The citrus punch, fruit punch tastes nice. Guava, pineapple, that give me a vibe. We don't want nothing less compared to the rest. Fruitopia the best. Punch any thirst when it comes to the test. Perfect thing for my lunch. Flavors pack a punch. Fruitopia, Fruitopia. It's a drink that's high. The citrus punch, fruit punch tastes nice. Fruitopia, the drink that rocks your lunchtime.
Try our new passion fruit flavor today. Taste the passion.
Welcome back to The Right Fit. And you will have on our set here Mrs. Tahira Ramsrook, and we are talking about social media and the psychological effects on people, children, adults, and toddlers. And before we went to the break, we were talking about toddlers on the iPad. So we'll continue that conversation with Tahira. And we're going to refer to probably teenagers. How can parents set boundaries or take away privileges from teenagers without creating rebellion from them?
Yeah, big question again. So I think it's important maybe to involve our teens and our youths in discussions surrounding boundary setting. We all know, and research shows this, when we lecture, it just doesn't work. They
No.
get defensive, right? They shut down.
They shut you off.
They shut you off, and it just lends some more harm than good. So we involve them, we let them know and show them that we understand you care about it. We understand it's a way for you to feel connected to your peers and so on. But we also know the negative effects it can have. So let's try and talk and find a way that you can use this in a healthier manner. You know, let's now, again, it's case by case basis in terms of
Yes.
how much time, right? So let's say they decide, okay, you are allowed the social media users maybe 30 minutes to an hour, depending on age and all that, for a day. And afterwards you have to give in your phone, or maybe they use the setting on, I know Instagram, for example, you have those time limits, right? So it will log you off. So we need to involve them and collaborate and together come up with what works best for you as a family.
You know, sometimes parents, they give in.
Yes.
They give in. It's like the teenagers work on their brain as well. And, you know, okay,
Yes.
please, I just have to do this.
Yes.
And the parents give in. But how can they be firm yet in tune with their child and not, you know, give in and stand to those little rules or regulations that they make? Help the parents here.
I know it's again, it's such a good question, and it is tough. I have to acknowledge that. I think it is important for parents to have that level of self-awareness that I know that I have that tendency to give in ever so often. I know that they just, sometimes you have that soft spot, you know, the way they
Yes.
speak, the things they
Please,
say.
please, I just need to do this.
Oh, they guilt trip you as well.
Yes, they guilt trip you.
Oh, that's a big one. So you have to have that level of awareness, and parents, please know if you find you are one of those struggle, you can reach out for help with that, learning how to set boundaries. I talked about that early on in our segment where we do parenting sessions. You know, baby, people think sometimes when you hear psychologists, there's this stigma, oh, you have to have a mental illness.
Correct.
Right? Not necessarily.
And they need help, and they have to understand we're talking about intentional living and coaching.
Yes.
You first of all have to recognize, hey, I need some help. I need to get help out there, and it is not a stigma anymore. People are calling it different names. But I think a lot of parents need help in this aspect, and of course, there is no book on parenting.
There's no manual,
Right.
unfortunately.
And these are new things coming up, how our parents and grandparents educated us and dealt with us. We didn't have social media then.
We didn't, and that's an important point. I want to talk about that, baby.
Yes.
So as parents, we are not superhumans. We wish we were,
Yeah.
right? We are not superhumans. There is no manual, as we said. However, we can turn to the resources. We can get the professional help if needed. We cannot do everything on our own. We have to go back to the days, right, when, our grandparents and so on relied on each other, on community, right? But now we are lucky enough to have professionals and to have so many other resources out there through our ministries, right? There are so many people that do pro bono work.
Yes.
Because we understand that there is a cost attached to all of this. Not everyone can afford the services, and we understand that. Even I do pro bono work sometimes, for people who are really in need, because we need it. So I want parents to know there is help. You can reach out. You cannot do it alone. And don't make anyone ever make you feel as though you should be.
And
we
then
need each other.
We need it. And I know most parents are on a chat with WhatsApp. Maybe the parenting chat you could create now. Hey, look, I'm dealing with this. How did you deal with that? Let's
Sure.
chat about it and get that kind of educational chat about teenagers, so the group and the classmate, the children in the same school. Let's talk about this instead of what happening here, or who's selling what,
Right.
where is the next, whatever.
Yes, you can use those forums and those platforms in a healthy manner.
Correct.
Instead of the gossip, or, use it in a way to help yourselves, and in turn the youths by extension.
Because sometimes people create, and I'm on chat, and they say this is for educational, but it turn out to, oh, there's a show here, a bazaar here, and it goes on, and I'm totally turned off now.
Yes.
About it, okay? And we're talking about children, and we talk about curating, but I think what social media, boys and girls, which one that affects most? Curating that image.
Excellent question. So the research shows, baby, that it does affect girls
Ah,
a lot more. Why? Well,
why?
we spoke about this earlier on.
Yes.
There's a heavy focus on the beauty and the aesthetics. Now we know social media. When we post pictures, we have that option of filters,
Of course.
right? Using AI, sometimes we see images of people and we're like, but is that
Huh?
real? Is that person?
Yeah.
And again, these really unrealistic standards. Now, our youths, and it's really unfortunate, feel like, okay, well, that's the kind of makeup I need to be using, or the certain products for my hair, or the kind of clothing I should be wearing, or maybe even those are the places I need to frequent. There
Yep.
may be a status attached to it.
Wow.
I mean, there are so many aspects.
you are
of the
really
youth.
talking the language out there that is happening right now.
It is.
And then, you know, what can we do about it? It really, really. And psychologically, no, how does that affect their brain and their development as well? I know we're talking about it, but I'm repeating and talking because I want the message to drive home there.
Yeah, so, you know, again, Bibi, it's creating, as I said, really perfectionist tendencies, right? These curated images, a lot of pressure, performance, right? Where you feel you need to present yourself in a certain way to be accepted. And what happens, Bibi, is you lose who you are.
Your
in the process.
identity, go on.
Your identity. There's this confusion between who I think I should be versus who I am.
And that's a key point there. You know that we could go to town and talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
It's the real world versus the what you see there and what you want of, and validation about who you are and what you're doing. Wow, wow.
Yeah, it's deep. So now the thing about validation, we want to talk a little bit about that. We need external validation to thrive as humans. We need it. We need to strike a healthy balance between external and internal validation. But if we are solely relying on social media for that validation,
Oh, wow.
that is where the problem comes in.
And you know what? That just strike me. Parents need to play positive compliments, especially to teenagers.
You are absolutely correct. And you know what is important to Bibi? We need to praise efforts.
Yes.
Not
Even
just
tiny one.
outcome, even the tiniest, you're right. A lot of times we praise, oh, A+, SAGs, they got all the denominational schools, right? But without praising that journey along the way, right? Okay, let's say a student is weak in math, for example, right? And so they write the exam, you started to get lessons for them, and now you see they moved from maybe a C, and they have a B+.
Good.
Excellent, we praise it. Wow, I see how hard you're working. Great job, acknowledge their efforts as
But
well.
you
It's
know
so
what they do?
important.
You need to work hard. And then you have
That
to get
is-
an A. You need to get an A. And that brings me back to SCA. You have
Yes.
to pass for this so-called prestige school. And you have to do this, and they put pressure on the child.
So much pressure.
And you know, we could touch about that, how they, because SEA is coming up. I had a whole program on SEA. Again, it's not too late to advise parents, just keep it simple and not put
Yes.
pressure on your child. Or if they are a lawyer, you have to be a lawyer, that kind of thing.
Right, right. You see, we need to be aware, BBS parents, as well, of our own biases, our stereotypes. If we are not, and I spoke about this point earlier on, that level of self-awareness is so important. And as I said, if you feel that, you know, sometimes you don't have it, because we weren't just born with it. Some of us may have it, you know, more than others, but we can seek and get the help we need to become more self-aware. As I said, of these biases, we may have these stereotypes, and to break cycles.
Yes.
And to ensure we're not passing on these things. Maybe it would have happened to us. Maybe our parents pressured us as parents, right?
Yep.
And so it's passed down, and sometimes it just happens in a way, you know, we can't blame parents if they are not aware of how these cycles are continuing. But that awareness is so important, so we break those cycles.
Wow, as we're talking about school, cyberbullying is happening in Trinidad and Tobago right now. And
Yes.
what is the emotional impact of cyberbullying?
Yeah, so it's creating feelings of depression, heightened anxiety, thoughts of harming yourself, baby. I mean, it's really, really so unfortunate, and I can tell you it's so rampant in Trinidad and Tobago, cyberbullying. There is a unit, so I think it's the social media and cyberbullying unit and the TTPS, right, where you can report, and I want parents to know this.
Tell them that.
Right, so you can, but of course you have to have your evidence.
Right.
So you have your evidence and you can go to the units and report these cases. Please, parents, you have that responsibility to help and protect and guide our children, because they can't do it alone. They need that guidance. So we have a responsibility to report it, go to the units if needed, have open conversations with the teachers. So we spoke about earlier on open dialogue with our youths, right, and our children. But we need to strike and have those open conversations, maybe, with our teachers as well, because what we may see, what our teachers may say at the school environment, we may not say at home, and vice versa.
Correct.
So only when you speak to these teachers, you understand fully what is happening with your child. And a lot of times, parents are not interacting. I mean, apart from the parent-teachers meetings and so on, you should keep in constant communication and contact throughout.
Right.
Maybe even weekly. I don't expect on a daily basis.
Right.
But even on a weekly basis, that is so important.
So it's important that we to really be good observers
Yes.
of our children, and most important also to be very close to your class teacher. Especially at the lower level, they have one, but at the upper level, at secondary school, they have many teachers. But the children, but how can, I mean, we could talk to the teenager, how can they heal from this? How can they get through this? Well, you talk about reporting, but healing your own self about this now. And the bully sometimes is need help as well, the one who's doing the bullying.
Absolutely. So again, the intervention has to be not only for the victims of bullying, but it has to be for the bullies as well, because we know, Bibi, that most of these times when these kids and youths engage in these acts of bullying, it's because of maybe what they're going through at home. It starts at the home, the family unit. Remember, the family is the building block of our society. And I want parents to understand this. And this is not to blame. This is not to place blame.
Right.
But this is to, with education comes empowerment, and then we're able to make better choices and decisions. And this is why I'm saying this.
And we know that because children, I always say, learn what they live.
Absolutely. Remember, parents are children's first role models.
Correct.
Right, before they go out there, and yes, we know they are influenced, there's peer pressure, and by their peers and so on. So that is another part of it. But as parents, if you have that connection and establish that sense of safety with your children, then they will be more willing to open up to you and discuss what's really happening, right? So in those ways, that's one way we can deal with the cyberbullying, when parents are aware, okay, I know this is going on, I can go to the teacher, the principal, whoever you need to go to, and make choices accordingly. Do I remove them from the environment? Does this mean a change of school? Do I take them to a mental health professional? How do I move forward? Again, really all depending on so many factors.
And excellent ideas for parents, again, there to understand what is happening. And I'm saying this because, I mean, as you said, parents are so busy, but you've got to take time, because if you don't address it now, what will happen to that child if they continue like that? How can they heal? Or what the parents are going to do is going to affect them again, and you are the psychologist. So the question is, what can teachers, you said one way is to report, but how to deal with them, to heal. It's a healing process, because in Trinidad, you know, we had a student who took his life.
I know, yes, very unfortunate.
And I am sure if interventions had taken place, something could have been done, and one life lost is one too many. So I mean, you are listening for us there, but again, to reiterate to parents, we know it's happening. Students in school, they envy each other, and they cyberbully, or they send them WhatsApp messages and so on. So how can a child, no, we want to empower the child here now. How can they deal with this immediately? What are some of your tips, and how is it affecting their minds here?
So, well, you had asked initially about the teachers.
Right.
So I think it's important for teachers to be observers as well. Yes, I know teachers have a huge responsibility. So you're there to educate, right? But then there's the emotional aspect. We cannot dismiss that part. It's a holistic development we're
Correct,
looking at.
yes.
So, yes, you are not solely responsible teachers. This is a shared responsibility, right? So observe, if you notice from the get-go signs with the student, all of a sudden the student is withdrawing.
Yeah, okay.
Right? That is one of the signs. Certainly, they're not engaged in activities they usually would, interacting with their friends. Very sad, appear very sullen, you know, their mood changes.
Okay.
Those are signs for teachers to say, you know what?
Something is wrong here.
Something is up here, and maybe I need to talk to parents, call them in, right? Because sometimes we wait till it's too late. We notice, but we're not bringing this up to the people in high authority or to the parents, and we wait. And then what happens?
We wait too late.
It's too late.
And again,
so from the time you notice those signs, baby, it's so important to liaise.
so we could message our teachers out there now and ask them to be a little more concerned, not that they are not, empathize and look at your students and really observe them, as you said. And in teaching, we say it's holistic. And the child is not there and not paying attention and sad. Nothing goes in and they don't.
You don't learn.
You
That's
can't.
another important point. Kids shut down.
Right.
And that is now not an environment that is conducive to learning. And we see that all the time, baby. We have people come to our office and they're like, you know, this is a straight A student, right? Let's just say, again, hypothetical situation. And then all of a sudden, you know, I notice this child doesn't want to do their work or their homework. They're withdrawing. They don't even want to interact with their friends. They're not speaking to us. They're locked up in their rooms.
And you would have witnessed, I mean, we're not calling names here, but you have seen
Oh, absolutely.
cases like these.
Yes.
So again, how did you help, or how can the parents, and both interaction is important there,
Yes.
help children like that to come through this challenged part then?
Yeah, so I mean, again, it really goes back to if there were any unmet needs, right, that they were trying to fulfill. Also, is it that they're just not connecting to their peers that caused them to, you know, made them so vulnerable, right? So we need to speak with these kids, really get to the root, figure it out, and then build rapport. Because a huge part of healing in the therapeutic space is that relationship you would have built with your clients. This is across the board, but we're speaking about the youths here.
Yes.
I strongly believe, and I tell parents and clients this all the time, that relationship that you have, they need to feel safe, secure with you for them to open up.
Yes.
So that's one of the number one things I strive to do when I see our youth create that safe space where they will trust me and open up and share their concerns.
And you have that with you, and you have seen it work.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the whole thing. You know, and I will go now, time coming up, to adults. Why some people like to post, scroll, seek likes? What needs or emotional needs are these adults meeting? And every morning send good morning, 101 everybody sending good morning, and there is no need, I think, educational. Yes, you may have a little nice saying or whatnot,
yeah.
but I think, I don't know, something is not right there.
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, you know, it could be that they're trying to connect. I know for the older ones, elderly population, right? We get
That's
those
the
good
elderly
mornings,
population, correct.
messages, and honestly, I think sometimes they are lonely. Now that's a whole another
Oh,
issue,
yes.
you know, within our communities, right? And it's really unfortunate. But I believe that they're lonely and trying to fill that need for connection, belonging. So by sending that message, they'd hope. I mean, sometimes we don't respond and reply to it. I mean, I try to, right? That they'll get a message back. Okay, enjoy your day, have a blessed day, you know. And right there, and then you wouldn't believe, baby, how you know, how someone can feel
about
when
it.
they get. So that need for connection, I think, is one of the major things in terms of adults, validation, reassurance. Again, if it is that you are not getting those needs met in your everyday lives, again, we turn to these platforms, seeking it out.
And they send videos and they send all sorts of things. And like you said, it's an aging population in our
Yes.
country. And the
Yes.
age one, they send you jokes and some not so good and good. But sometimes you yourself busy and you're not able to go through all these WhatsApp. It could be a bit annoying too at
Well,
times.
I agree. I understand where you're coming from. I understand from the both ends
Yeah,
of the
it's a-
spectrum.
well, you are the
in terms
expert
of
here.
people receiving the messages, and but we
those-
also know in terms of those who are sending.
Sending the message, everyday messages. So maybe they should get involved with other things or groups or something like that.
Absolutely. So if you find that you're only turning to this platform to fulfill these needs, well then seek out other initiatives, groups, get involved in your community, right? There are many, I know, NGOs as well, right, that do really good work. And, you know, getting yourself involved, giving back, right? I always say, what good is our knowledge if we're not using it for the betterment of our society or to help others?
Yes, giving
Right?
back.
Giving back is so important. So you see what that does, baby, it creates a sense of purpose and meaning in our lives. And that's a need that as humans needs to be fulfilled.
And lots of us just sit there and just like the adults. And giving back makes you feel so good too. Eh?
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
you help this one, or you help, you feed people, or you in a group, you go and educate people, you're involved, and then you won't have all of this on your head.
Exactly, because then you're involved in something beyond the self. Right? Community research shows this as well. Baby, and I'd have, you know, our viewers know this, that involvement in community and so on is, helps promote good mental health.
And that's our next story too we have to go into, because mental health, dementia, all these are coming, Alzheimer's, all of this. And it says, you are the expert here. If you help or you research or you do work, like, you know, it helps you to go ahead and liaise with people and get a better health.
Of course, it keeps our brains healthy, you know, for cognitive development and so on, because we know there's cognitive decline as we get older, right? So when you keep yourself involved, community, you feel a sense of connection, a sense of purpose, it almost acts as protective factors.
Excellent. Giving back. And I always say service to people is service to mankind, is service to God. And that's what we were created for. Eventually, all of us would realize that intentional living, giving back also helps us here. And I may have asked you this already. How can someone manage adult anxiety from online expectations or negative comments? Sometimes you put something and somebody blasts you throughout.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. You see, we have to understand our Caribbean context.
That's right.
Right? We know that people, there's banter. You know, people are quick to just speak their minds. We call it being straightforward, being blunt. We can't get away from it. What I suggest is have time limits. Set boundaries for yourself in terms of how much time you are exposed to social media. That is super important. Pay attention to the accounts that you are following. We have that option of muting. We have the option of unfollowing accounts.
Correct.
If we notice every time we are consuming content and we don't feel good about ourselves, we feel worse off, we feel less than, we don't need to continue viewing those videos, looking at those types of pictures and so on. We have that choice. And we need to realize that to curate our own experience.
Excellent. You know, and that's the Caribbean kind of culture we deal with, and people like public commentary. And, well, I wouldn't go into the political part. This is for education. I leave that for some other forum there, right? And how can communities use social media in a healthier, more supportive way?
Yeah, so I think a key factor here is sensitization. We have to have more campaigns out there. I'm sure there are already through ministries and so on, where we educate, we sensitize the public to the harmful effects. And just, you know, I think education is really the way to go. As I said, I spoke about this earlier on, awareness, right? But for us to become more self-aware, sometimes we need that guidance, right?
Yes.
So that education through campaigns and so on, as I said, sensitization is super, super important. So this is why, BBNO, I appreciate programs like yours.
The Right Fit is the educational program, and I make it very clear.
Absolutely.
It's educational to inform and educate. And perhaps, I mean, time doesn't us permit to going deeper
Yes.
into education, but like appeal to NGOs to have
Yes.
forums like these to educate people about the negative, the positive, and what you can do about it. It's not
Oh,
only
absolutely.
awareness. When you empower yourself, you say, yes, I can disconnect when you have the power, like you said, within you to disconnect. This is not serving me right. Because recently I met someone and I asked her, you look at the news, and I'm bashing anybody. No, I don't look at the news. Why? Because it's sometimes so negative that it has, well, you tell us the effect on your health, on your brain when you see too many negative things.
Oh yeah, that's understandable, right? I mean, I still believe we need to keep up to date with what's happening. But if we're consuming negative content all day, it doesn't do well for us. It can create, again, heightened anxiety, bring on a fuel symptoms of depression. We can feel more irritable. It can affect our mood. And then sometimes we take it out
Right, we lash
on
back.
people around us.
Yes.
And we don't even realize why are we this way. Sometimes it could be because of our social media usage.
Yep. And you hear people complaining and verbally to each other, well, this one said that, or that one sent me this message, and they in a negative way again. So, you know, good things don't come to an end here. And we almost at the end of this program, and it was such a wonderful opportunity to chat with you here on this program. Before we wrap up, one message you want viewers to remember about using social media in a healthier way.
So what I want to say to our viewers is that social media is here to stay. We need to learn to exist in this digital space. It's not going anywhere. But it is up to us to find ways to use it to benefit ourselves. There are ways, right, that we can use it in a healthy and helpful manner, whether it be setting boundaries, limiting our exposure to negative content or content that just doesn't make us feel good, right? So it is your choice. You have that agency, that control to curate your own experience. And if it is that you are struggling on your own to do it, please know that you can always reach out for help and guidance.
Thank you so much for all the insightful messages and answers to me here. So, folks, as you go into the week, take a moment to check with yourself. Ask, is my online life supporting my real life? And if not, you have the power to shift it. This brings us to the end of this evening's conversation. Once again, I thank Almighty God for this opportunity. Thank my guest, Mrs. Tahira Ramsuk, for her meaningful insights. Thanks to the staff here at IBN, Siddiqa and Siddiqa, and Brother Hasib. Join us every Monday at 8 p.m. and a rerun on Saturday at 5 p.m. Drop us a line if you would like to be on the program or if you have questions. And speaking of questions, my audience requested autism. And next week, as we promised, we will be talking about autism. If you are not able to see this program on IBN at Channel 8, you can view it on Facebook, TOTV, or YouTube. Our topic for next week is autism. Take care and have a blessed evening. Good evening. Good night.